I look at this and I laugh. The Prime Minister is talking about 90 something trips and 120 million in grants. For the information of this chat and for Barbados, because I will respond at some point in time. As Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, I negotiated with the Chinese, not flying to China to do it, but sitting in my office working with public officers to come up with a program to utilize a whole set of grant funding from the Chinese, including, if I remember the figure off the top of my head, 34 million US dollars to go to the University of the West Indies Jukes Project. Because when I became foreign minister, I realized that there were grant funds that the then administration of which she was a part had never utilized. And I remember sitting with my officers going around in circles till I told them, look, you know what? Let me take this matter to the cabinet and we will decide on the priority. I remember Hilary Beckles, Professor Sir Hilary, lobbying me hard to get funds for the university, and he did. We also got funds as part of that package for the Hope agricultural station in St. Lucie for agricultural programs for BCC and SJPP as it was then. And up to now, that project, they have not finished either one. And so I will respond to this. The other thing I would say to people, because people need to understand these things, and we have to respond, and I can do it as the person who traveled most, I would say, in this, when the Democratic Labour Party was in office. I was Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, and I traveled. But the Prime Minister would rack up 93 trips because she does not allow her ministers to go and do the things. So as I tell people, to explain is to expose. I have a cabinet paper which I came across some time ago when I was unpacking some boxes that I had my then secretary send home for me when we left the office. And because of the timing, she included by mistake a cabinet paper for travel for Billy Miller. And I would say this to this group as well, and you can tell it to anybody because it is fact. As the most travel officer, I would say, or one of the two most travel officers, probably, tourism was probably not as often. The Prime Minister certainly didn't run to everything. He allowed his ministers to travel, both Prime Ministers that I worked under. And once I discovered, I think the first one of the first meetings I went to, when I saw the price of a first class ticket, I can categorically say to any Barbadian and to stupid Stephanie Chase, although I don't respond to people like her, I will not waste my time and energy. But I travel business class because a business class ticket was in many cases half the price. And I have, as I say, that cabinet paper, which was packed with my papers by accident, and I decided to keep it in rather than just throw it away because it for posterity, like, no, I can demonstrate what I'm saying. They traveled first class. And at that time, one ticket, I think the ticket for Minister Miller was over $15,000. So the Prime Minister needs to come clean. What exactly is she reporting? Is she reporting the cost of the ticket? Does she include per diem? Can she tell us, by comparison, how many trips would have been made by her counterparts, plural, whether it be Prime Minister Stewart, who was the last Prime Minister before she took office, Prime Minister Thompson, or Prime Minister Arthur, and we could go backwards. Because she would rack up 93 trips or whatever she said, because she was doing it alone. Let our ministers do the work, what they're getting paid for. But I will sit down and I will go through some information, because that whole notion, and I will respond to this nonsense. You see, because she would get in there and jump up and carry on. But just to repeat myself, as I say to people, to explain is to expose, and her nonsense will be exposed. I will come back home in a while and I will sit down and I would respond to this, showing Barbadians how these things, and it isn't only her travel, it is the entourage that she takes with her. You understand? So people don't get tapped, and make sure that when you talk to people, you tell them these kind of things. When you talk about expenses, How is it broken down? Are they traveling business class? If she's traveling by private jet, tell us how much does it cost compared to a ticket on a commercial airline. You know, who's she talking to? We think that Bajan's born big? Give me a break.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.